I've seen lots of UFOs, but particularly the ones I recount to people are the ones I saw in 91 and 92. The ones I saw in 91, it was August or early September. I can kick myself for not knowing the exact date. But anyway, what I saw was, I was up on a hill over there, across the street, behind Keith's place. And, well, it's right up that, towards that round top there. You can't see it at night here. But I was up there and was enjoying the scenery. I looked due west. I seen these two lights coming out from Samson Peak. They were about 300, 400 feet above the peak. Two lights, two white lights coming towards me. It was still light. The sun had gone down, but it was still quite bright. But I saw these bright white lights coming. And they came come nice and slow, about 60 miles an hour maybe. And then, as they got closer, they split. It was obvious there was three lights apiece on each one, three lights. So they kept coming. And they went over me. And the first one stopped directly over me, just straight above me. And what I could see looked like it was an equilateral triangle, 40 foot on a side, had a circular object in the middle, and the other one just kept going over the mountains nice and slow. And then it came back and joined the other one. They were like, separated by a couple hundred feet, and the one just sat above me. And I look up now and then, and it started to scare me.
How close? How close were they?
I imagined, I figured that it was probably maybe 800 to 1,100 feet above me. And after about 20, 30 seconds, it just creeped me out so bad that it was sitting there right above me. And so I ran down the hill, and I ran to my vehicle, and I came up here to my house on the other side. I got up there, and they're both in the sky still. And they would, just totally silent, and about equilateral triangles, not that far from me. You know, I would guess over there, they're, I don't know, maybe about 1,000 feet away from me. Mm-hmm. And then one of them would slowly go over the hill and come back. Then the other one would go and come back. Just kept on going. I went to find a camera. Of course, I can't remember, I think it didn't have batteries. And that pissed me off so bad. So I went out and tried to wave them down, come on down, nothing. And they just sat there in the sky. And for about 2.5 hours, they were in the sky there. And finally, to make a long story short, they both just drifted off to the east, past the mountain, and that was the last I saw them. The humans don't make anything like that. They don't make anything silent that just hovers. No, I don't know if they do. I mean, it could have been a blimp.
Did you have a sense of time loss at any point where
that's
you just
that's where the next one comes in.
Okay.
So anyway, from what I remember then, I remember telling my friend Oki about it, I'm pretty sure. And I thought I'd told other people, but I can't remember who. And it's not like me not to tell people that I'd seen that thing. But so a year later, I'm sitting in my house up there. It was my trailer, and I had the awning over it. And it was getting towards dark. It was still just a little bit of light, and I heard the dogs barking, and I knew it was one of those barks you got to go out and look at. And I went out there and then had just the same direction, well, over that way, towards the east, above the hill. There's these little dots of light, 4 or 5 of them, or 3 or 4 of them, and they're just swimming around like bees. Then all of a sudden they'd freeze up into a triad shape.
Right.
3 of them, and then they'd slowly start spinning in that shape. Then they'd break apart and do the bee thing again, and then they'd solidify again. They're like an equilateral triangle, and all of a sudden one of the lights comes, and I would say when I was looking at them, it might have been a mile and a half out above the hill, and all of a sudden one of the lights comes right to the top of the hill, and when it got to the top of the hill, it illuminated all the chaparral, and you can see the tops of it. the brush, and it was about 20 feet above it. And it looked like a globe about this big, a fluorescent globe. Comes down the hill, down the sandstone, right above it. And then it does a zigzag, and it keeps coming down again. And then all of a sudden, a little globe comes on underneath it, about 4 feet under it. It looked like it was swinging on a pendulum. And then it made a cross across the sandstone, and then started going back up. The little light went off, and it went back up to the top. And when it got to the top of the mountain, it goes whoop, to join the other lights that were originally there. I couldn't believe it. It wasn't an optical illusion. It wasn't anything that could be man-made that I know of. I've seen reason too, fairly recent. For years I reported it. A couple of years ago I reported it. What's it called? New Fork, the national. Anyway, it's there. It's in. Humans had something like that. I would imagine they would pay it forward so that everybody has to go like this or use that technology. I've often had thoughts that maybe they're interested in New Idria for some reason. But the weird thing was that when I saw the second year in '92, and then that next morning I told my mother and my stepbrother, and my mother she thought I was just trying to pull her leg. It made me feel funny. But the weirdest thing was that it made me remember that the sighting I'd seen from '91, and I hadn't told hardly anybody about it, which really seems weird. I don't remember being abducted or nothing. It doesn't seem right that I wouldn't have told anybody about it, which is really strange. I never didn't tell anybody, and it just seems it doesn't make sense. The night, well, after the second sighting, I kept having these recurring nightmares about not being able to turn the lights on. It was really weird.
Did you feel paralyzed?
Yeah.
Yes. Was it a loud vibration during that?
No.
In your head?
No. The first time I was, when it stopped overhead, I did get scared. This one I had a witness with. My girlfriend and I were in the hot tub up there, and it was about 4 in the morning. I forget what month it was. I think it was the springtime, and we're getting towards summer. And looked up, and I saw a flash, and I thought, oh, what's that? This is a key flash, and it just disappeared. And I said, hey, look, it might be UFO. She looked up, and then we saw another flash right by it. It was the same one. And then it went down about a minute later. It flipped on again, and then it went south. But it was just, it would go on and off, but it wasn't like a plane. And then it came back up this way, not like a plane, no sound, and way high up. And you could tell I could tell it wasn't a plane. I'm really good with noticing. And it wasn't a satellite, it wasn't a comet or a shooting star.